Okay, here we have a little problem. We have a zoned heat installed in our house, and one of the zones continually circulates hot water even though it turns off. Now, this is a Tasco cartridge circulator pump. It's the model 700, and because we have hard water, the little check valve has failed, and that's why the water is continually going through here. So I'm replacing it. Basically, I've already unhooked the wires just to be safe, and I'm going to be unfastening these bolts here, these bolts here. Already have the valves closed, so there'll be little water coming out, and I won't have to purge any air through the system. Okay. Using a 11/16 and an adjustable wrench, and seems to be working fairly easily. Once you loosen the bolts, the water will drain from the circulator, and you got to be careful because it may actually fall out if you don't have your hands on it. So luckily for me, it was tight enough that it didn't fall out because I wasn't expecting it to shift like this. So here we go. Here's the end and the gasket. Here's the pump. And here's the intake. And you can see how nasty this is because we have hard water. And here is where the check valve is. So this is the bad boy. It's interesting, just this little pressure on this plate holds everything together. I'm going to clean these off and reuse them because they look like they're fairly good. Okay, next step, take it upstairs and replace that valve. So here it is, removed, and you can see where the check valve is just gunked up with our hard water. So it looks like this actually still works, but I guess it's not working well enough. So the manufacturer says you use needle nose pliers, pull it out because it's only being held by a O-ring, and then I'll replace with the new one and we should be good to go. So this is what came out. I think the O-ring is still there, so there must be more to this part. So I'm going to have to dig a little deeper, but I ended up using my gun cleaning kit to clean up this area because it was pretty nasty. Ah, there we go. Operation was successful, Doctor. Sorry I don't have the aspect ratio correct. I'm using a battery box, a AA battery box. I got my survivalist knife here, my survivalist coffee here, so I had to improvise. Now you can see the gasket is taken out. And let's see, there we go. So I'm going to just double, triple make sure that I got everything out. But that's pretty nasty. So here's the replacement valve. So there definitely is more that I need to take out of this. So I got to figure out how to hook that and pull it out. But I can't believe how cheap. I mean, this should have been made with brass, but you know, it was like 20 bucks. Plus it came with these rings. One thing that's nice about projects is that gives you an excuse to buy more tools. Ooh. Okay, so here's the deal. Even though it looks like this is part of the check valve, when I went in with a pick, it is a whole separate part. It actually spins around, so it's basically set from the opposite side. So when I cut out the little pieces of the old check valve, everything came out with the O-ring. So now all I have to do is set the new one, which is here. Good old cast iron. Now this is part number 06047RP, and P is plastic. I did not see any part that would be RM for metal, so I'm not sure why they just have a different designation with a P, but there we go. So this is the Tasco 700 5 series, and it has a IFC on the end of it, so that means integral, let's see, integral flow check. There you go, integral, I can't even speak. Integral flow check. Jeez. Yeah, you can tell I'm not up for being a narrator. Anyway, I'm going to clean this off a little more, and then I'm going to install that. So here is the $10 part. Now some places charge $20 up to like $80 depending on who you get them from. So let's see, I got mine from supplyhouse.com. It was almost instantaneous. I ordered it at about maybe 3 o'clock on Sunday. I mean, not Sunday. Oh, jeez. I'm totally bonkers. On Wednesday, and I got it the next day. And the whole, I bought extra rings and the whole 9 yards just in case I need it. So it all came with shipping, about 30 bucks versus $100 for this whole system, which isn't bad. But then if you had a plumber come in, you're looking at another $200. So here's $300 versus $30. So, and I mean, it's really simple to take this apart, or at least take this up. And what's also interesting about this particular model is you can see these bolts here. You can pop this whole end off and replace just the cartridge. So instead of, you know, about $100, you can just buy a $30 cartridge and pop it in there. It varies $30 to $80, but I've seen them online for $30. So, you know, if the cartridge ever goes bad, you can just pop these off, put the new cartridge in, pop these back on, and you're good to go. Now, this looks like it's leaking from this seal here, but I think what it actually was is that we had a leak on the top because we had some problems with our heater, and we had to have the case replaced. It got cracked, or the boiler casing, and so the company that came back in and replaced it wasn't all that careful, and water got all over the place. So, and even if, you know, it is the seal here, I'll keep a check on it, and then if it you know, is actually dripping again, then I'll just pop this off, put another seal on, which I bought, and put it back on. As you can see, you know, here's the weeping holes for the motor, so at least it's not coming out from there. That would be bad. So this is how it fits in. Now I'm going to not film me pushing it in because I don't want to crack these or whatever, but basically it's just push in and that's it. Put in, you know, I'm going to clean these seals up because they look brand new. But just put this on, then put everything together, hook the wires up, and it should be good to go. Okay, so it is installed. I just pushed it in there until it stopped. Now here's the deal. You can see where this one basically fit inside the housing. This one sticks way out. Oops, gotta remember to keep the camera focused. Anyway, this one sticks way out, which is not a big deal because, of course, you know, the system will, or the pipe has enough room for this to protrude into it. But anyway, at first I thought, oh man, I got the wrong piece. But then I went online and found that this particular model of circulator pump, they changed the check valve. So this is the check valve that they now use. So we're good to go. And I'm going to clean the rest of this up, install the O-rings, and put everything back together. So now I'm cleaning up the other side, getting all the rust and stuff off using an aluminum brush. I didn't want to use the brass brush that I had. Just save a little bit of money, but anyway, as you can see, I'm cleaning up as much as I can. I'm going to clean out the area for the O-ring. I already cleaned up the O-rings. And as I always say, be good to go. So the rings are installed, and so is the check valve. Everything's ready to get hooked back up. You can see all the nasty stuff. But we got old cast iron pipe servicing our house, so needless to say, in a 150-year-old house, you're going to have hard water whether you like it or not. So I cleaned up, I guess these are called flanges, I'm not sure. But anyway, I cleaned up all the hard water that I can and get all the particles I can out of here. Because the last thing I want is one of these little tiny particles to jam up that check valve. Now I noticed one thing when I took this apart. These were not very tight. I mean, I didn't have to put any pressure on them all to pull this apart. I mean, unbolt it. So, you know, seeing it from this side, it definitely looks like there was moisture coming out of here. But then again, like I was saying before, the people that came in and repaired our furnace did a really crappy job. So I'm not sure if they screwed around or not, but they certainly screwed around with other things. They unplugged our our smoke detector because they were causing smoke, because they thought it would be funny to burn off these labels. These labels were from the company that installed our heating and air conditioning on the new edition, and to have these zone systems for our hot water baseboard. So these idiots went in and thought it was funny and burned that stuff off. Well, this one didn't have it, but the other ones had the name of the company that installed the, see, they even tried to rip it off. So I'm thinking that they screwed around. So, but anyway, I'm going to put everything back together. Should be, yes, you guessed it, good to go. Okay, here's the important thing. These circulators have to be horizontal. This cartridge needs to be horizontal. You can see like this one. So it's important. It wasn't too hard to put these on. I haven't tightened them yet. But basically it wasn't too hard for me to do it alone. The check valve just fits within this connector here, so I'm really happy about that, because when I first test fitted it, it didn't seem like it was going to fit, and I was very concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these things up, and then I'm going to release the pressure to see if there's any leaks. And then I'm going to see about running this pump for a little bit. Okay, it's all installed, all wired. Our tenant isn't home, so I don't know if it's going to start to run when she turns it on or not, but best part is that I can grab a hold of this and it's no heat. So the check valve is working, because it used to be when the second floor or the old section of the house was circulating hot water through the baseboard, I couldn't even touch this. This was hot. So meaning, of course, that the hot water was coming through here and up. So now that it's installed, I gotta wait till the tenant to come in to kick this system on. But unfortunately, in the process of getting this loosened, the packing nut is now leaking. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. Basically I got to take this top nut off, take the handle off, clean it up, tighten this a little bit, and that should do the trick. But anyway, so that's how easy it is to replace the check valve, and I've saved myself at least a couple of $100, maybe even $3. Okay, so the system is now running, as you can see. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to see if there was a means to test a certain circuit without having to go over to the rental side and turn the heat on over there. Our tenant is not home this weekend. So, unfortunately, there is no means of testing it, but it's still interesting to see how things work in here. Basically, you have the first floor zone there, and where it comes up, goes out, goes to the other side of the house to the thermostat, and then the second floor, same thing, comes out top and then goes upstairs. But the packing nut eventually stopped leaking, so right now I don't have a crescent wrench that will fit right there, because this nut's in the way. So I didn't want to have to take everything apart, and all of a sudden the packing nut stopped leaking. So I guess it just needed to expand a little. So I'm happy about that, because of course it took me probably about, well, actually it took me more time to take and unhook the electrical than it did to actually unhook this from pipes. But there's been no leaks whatsoever, and I am extremely happy about that. And now it's just a matter of waiting until the tenant comes home, and I'm going to ask her to turn up the heat, and we'll check the system. Well, good news, everybody. I don't know if you can hear it, but the pump is running. The pipe's getting hot. No drips. It was a successful operation. Cool. Saved us good $300. $30? $300. Pretty good.